Some decisions seem insignificant in the moment we make them. A small shortcut, a white lie, a second of distraction. But what if I told you that a single, seemingly harmless choice can completely destroy your life in a matter of hours? This is the true story of Marcus Chen, an ordinary man who made a simple decision on a Tuesday in March and was never the same again. Before we begin, leave your like if you appreciate stories that make you question every choice you make. And stay until the end, because the twist in this story will leave you speechless.
Marcus Chen was 34 years old and worked as a systems analyst in Boston. Married for 6 years to Laura, no children. Stable life, predictable routine, nothing extraordinary. Tuesday, March 14, 2023. Marcus woke up at 6:30 a.m. as always. Quick breakfast. Laura had already left for an early meeting. He checked his phone, normal work messages, nothing urgent. 8:15 in the morning, Marcus got in his car to go to the office, a black Civic 2018, which he kept impeccably clean. The route was always the same, 23 minutes via Route 9. But that morning, the GPS showed an accident ahead, traffic at a standstill, a 40-minute delay. And here, this is where it all begins. Marcus looked at his watch. He had an important presentation at 9:30 a.m. He couldn't be late. So he did something he rarely did. He decided to take a shortcut. A shortcut through Meadowbrook Road, an old residential area he vaguely knew. It would save 15 minutes, according to GPS. A simple choice, logical even. But it was at that moment that Marcus Chen sealed his fate. Meadowbrook Road was a narrow street lined with old trees and houses that seemed to have been abandoned by time. At 8:25 in the morning, the street was strangely empty. Marcus drove carefully. He didn't know that area well. The houses were old, Victorian style, with poorly maintained yards. Some windows had boards nailed over them. Then he saw her, a girl, apparently about 7 or 8 years old, standing in the middle of the street, wearing an old-fashioned white dress, dark hair flowing loose. She just stared at his car.
Marcus honked lightly. The girl didn't move. He stopped the car about 5 meters from her and rolled down the window. "Hey, are you okay? Where are your parents?" Silence. The girl continued looking at him with an expressionless face. Marcus looked around. No other person on the street, no cars. The houses seemed deserted. And here, the second choice. He could have turned around, looked for another street. He could have called the police and continued on his way. But he didn't. Marcus thought, "She's a child. She might be lost. I can't just leave her here alone." He parked the car and got out. "Are you lost? Where do you live?" The girl pointed to a house at the end of the street, a degraded Victorian mansion with peeling paint and a completely wild yard. "Are your parents there?" The girl nodded yes, but still didn't say a word. Marcus hesitated. It was already 8:32 a.m. He still had time to get to work if he was quick. "All right, I'll walk you there." Marcus followed the girl down the street. With each step, a strange feeling grew in his stomach. Something wasn't right. The silence was absolute. No birds, no wind, nothing. They reached the mansion's gate. The girl pushed the rusty iron gate, which creaked loudly, and entered. "Wait," Marcus said. "I'll just call your parents from here." But the girl kept walking toward the front door. Marcus looked back. His car was about 50 meters away. He could go back. He should go back. But the girl opened the house door and disappeared inside.
"Damn," Marcus muttered. He couldn't let a child enter alone into a house that looked abandoned. He entered the yard. The front door was ajar. Marcus knocked. "Hello? Is anyone there? I found your daughter on the street." No answer. He slowly pushed the door open. The interior was dark, smelled of mold and old wood. Furniture covered with white sheets, dust on everything. "Girl, where are you?" Marcus entered the living room. His phone rang. It was the office. He declined the call. That's when he heard it. Footsteps upstairs. Slow, deliberate. "Hello? I'm Marcus Chen. I found a girl on the street. She said she lived here." The footsteps stopped. Then a voice, male, deep, coming from upstairs. "Marcus Chen." It wasn't a question. It was a statement. The voice knew his name. Marcus's heart raced. How did that voice know his name? He hadn't introduced himself before entering. "Who are you? How do you know my name?" Footsteps descending the stairs, slowly. Marcus backed toward the door. His instinct finally screamed, "Run!" But it was too late. A man appeared at the top of the stairs, about 60 years old, thin, wearing an old-fashioned black suit, pale face, deeply sunken eyes. "Marcus Chen," the man repeated, descending the steps. "You came." I just came to bring the girl back. Where is she?" The man smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile.
"There is no girl, Marcus." Marcus's blood ran cold. "What do you mean? I saw her. She brought me here." "She always brings them," the man said calmly, now at the foot of the stairs. "That's how it works. One choice leads to another. And now you're here." Marcus ran to the door. Locked. He pulled hard. Nothing. The doorknob wouldn't turn. "Let me out! Now!" "You don't understand where you are, do you?" the man said, approaching slowly. "This house, it doesn't follow the same rules." Marcus grabbed his phone. No signal. How was that possible? He had signal 2 minutes ago. "What do you want from me?" The man stopped 3 meters away. "It's not what I want. It's what the house wants. It brought you here for a reason." "This is insane. Let me out or I'll call the police." "Your phone doesn't work here. Nothing from the outside world works here. And the more you try to leave, the deeper you get." Marcus looked around desperately. Windows, they all had iron bars on the inside. Every choice you made today brought you to this point. The shortcut, stopping for the girl, following her, entering the house. Every decision was yours, Marcus. You weren't forced. "This doesn't make sense." "It makes perfect sense. You think it was a coincidence? The traffic accident, the girl? Everything was set up for you because you have something the house needs." "What do you want from me?" Marcus asked, trying to keep his voice steady. The man gestured for him to sit in an old armchair. 3 people have come through here in the last 10 years. All made the same choice as you. All tried to leave. Only one succeeded.
How? By making another choice. The man sat across from Marcus. The house offers a bargain. It always does. You can try to leave by force, but it never worked. The doors won't open. The windows won't break. Time here doesn't pass the same way. People tried for days, weeks. Marcus felt nauseous. Or, the man continued, you can make a choice, a final choice. What choice? The man pointed to a table in the corner of the room. On it, there were 2 old phones. You can make one call, just one, to anyone, and you must make a choice. Save yourself or save someone you love. I don't understand. One phone, the man explained, calls the police. You tell them where you are. They'll come. You'll be rescued, but someone you love will die today. The house takes a life in return. Marcus felt absolute terror. The other phone calls that person. You can warn them about a danger they'll face today. You'll save their life, but you will stay here forever. This is sick. You're crazy. I'm not the one who makes the rules, the man said calmly.
I made my choice 23 years ago. I chose to stay. My daughter lived. Marcus looked at the man with renewed horror. You've been trapped here for 23 years? Time means nothing here. For me, it's been one day, one long, endless day. What if I choose nothing? If I just wait? Then both will die. You here and the person out there. In 3 hours, Marcus, at 11:35 today, something will happen to someone you love, and you'll be here, unable to do anything. Marcus felt tears in his eyes. How do you know you're not lying?
The man stood up and went to an old cabinet. He grabbed a yellowed newspaper and threw it in Marcus's lap. Boston Globe, May 3rd, 2000. Headline: Father mysteriously disappears. Daughter survives fatal accident. The photo showed the man in front of him, younger, smiling next to a little girl. Jennifer Chen was 8 years old, the man said. She was going to cross the street that day. A truck. I called. I warned the babysitter. Jennifer lived. Marcus looked at the last name. Chen. Your uncle, David Chen, your father's brother. You were 11 when I disappeared. Marcus's world collapsed. Marcus held the phone with trembling hands. It was 9:47 a.m. Laura. He thought about his wife, about her smile, about the plans they had, about their shared dreams. Then he thought about himself, about his life, about everything he still hadn't done. If I choose to save myself, who dies? David looked at him with sadness. The house has already chosen Laura. Marcus felt the floor disappear beneath his feet. No, no, I refuse to choose. Then both die at 11:35. That's also a choice, Marcus. Marcus looked at the two phones, black and white, life and death. How much is a life worth? How much is love worth? How much is sacrifice worth? He picked up the phone. Marcus dialed. Each number seemed to weigh a ton. His finger trembled over each key. The phone rang. Once, twice, 3 times. Hello? Laura's voice. Sweet, alive, real. Marcus took a deep breath, and then, "Laura," he said, his voice breaking, "I love you, and I need you to listen to me very carefully." Police found Marcus Chen's black Civic abandoned on Meadowbrook Road on March 15, 2023 at 2:20 p.m. Marcus Chen was never found. But that morning at 11:35 a.m., Laura Chen received a strange call from an unknown number. Her husband, with a desperate voice, begging her not to take the Uber she had called, to wait, to take a taxi instead. She thought it was strange, but she obeyed. At 11:37 a.m., the Uber she would have taken was involved in a fatal accident on I-90. The driver died instantly, the passenger in the back seat too. Laura Chen never heard her husband's voice again. But on silent nights, when she passes through Meadowbrook Road, which she now avoids, she swears that sometimes she sees a figure in the window of that Victorian mansion, a figure that looks like Marcus, watching, waiting, trapped in a single day that never ends, all because of a simple choice, taking a shortcut. How many decisions did you make today? How many shortcuts? How many seconds did you save that could cost you a lifetime? Marcus Chen was an ordinary man. He made a decision that millions of us make every day, and he paid the ultimate price. The real question is, if you were Marcus, what would you choose? Your life or the person you love? Leave your answer in the comments and subscribe to the channel for more stories that will make you rethink every choice you make. Because sometimes, one wrong choice is all that separates a normal day from an eternal nightmare.